G'day, I am at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA1. Today I'm flying Emirates in business class on their 777. Initially, when I first booked this flight through to Dubai, was meant to be on the A380. Unfortunately, that got changed a couple of months ago, so a little bit disappointed that I won't be able to try that product out, but equally excited to give the 777 a go. There's no first class on this flight, it's only business and economy. We'll see how it goes. And stick around because I might have found a little hack about how to avoid the pesky surcharges with Emirates as part of Qantas Frequent Flyer. Anyway, we arrived to the check-in desk a little bit before they opened, before the 3 hours, and it was absolute chaos. People waiting around in every direction to try and get in. Thankfully, there was a dedicated business class lounge and it was checked. Then we went through immigration and got spat out into the main terminal area. Of course, a lot of international flights fly out of the satellite terminal, which does mean you need to get there a little bit earlier just to make sure that you are on time, because it does take a bit of time. There is a dedicated business class bus, as you can see, and there are some decent views on the way, but it is a little bit frustrating to have to go through this rigmarole. Nevertheless, got to the satellite terminal, which is okay. I mean, it's not as much to do as, say, KLIA2, which I find a lot more impressive, but we did get access to the Golden Lounge at the airport. There is no dedicated Emirates lounge, but the offering was pretty good. A lot of cold stuff, some really nice drinks, and the hot stations were also quite nice. There was also a make-it-yourself pasta and laksa bar, which I thought was really impressive, and there were some nice views as well of the apron. So all in all, not too bad. KL Airport is kind of like Singapore in that security is done at the gate, so there is a bit of a line there, and there was no business class queue. Anyway, we were at 2J and K in the 232 layout that Emirates has on their 777s. This was A6E and W, a 10-year-old Boeing 777, and here's what the seats look like. They are starting to look a little bit tired, but on this flight, a flight departing around 6:30 in the evening and arriving about 10:30, they did offer a mattress pad, blanket, and all the amenities that you could expect. Legroom, obviously very good because they are not sort of staggered or like, you know, with foot cubbies or anything like that. And the cabin is quite spacious. Yes, it might be 7 across, but there are no overhead bins in the middle area, so it does give that sort of sense of airiness, which is kind of nice. There are also overhead air vents, which is a great touch that you don't always see on airplanes, especially modern ones, but storage is a bit of an issue with this seat, especially where your elbows are. Yes, there's a universal power outlet there and USB charging, but when the bed's in bed mode, it's kind of hard to access. There's the tablet for controlling the in-flight entertainment, well, the two tablets actually, and there is the screen, quite large, but quite far away. We were also given menus before we took off. Those were handed out so we could make our selections for dinner. This was a dinner time flight, I guess, so 6:45 departure, I believe, and then arriving into Dubai at about 10:30. So I was going to get some food and then get some sleep because we had a transfer to get to Muscat. So yes, decided to do that. Overall, I think my impressions of the seat are that, yes, they're old, but they're comfortable in seat mode in particular. And you'll see soon that the flight attendants came around and made them into beds pretty soon after takeoff for just about everyone. That was quite proactive, I think. Plus, we were offered a welcome drink. I had orange juice, and the service sort of made up for, I guess, that bad hard product, if that makes sense. I mean, you can have all the bells and whistles in business class, but if the service lets the product down, I think sometimes it can be a bit disappointing. There was none of that from Emirates. They came around and took photos on the Polaroids, as they sometimes do as well, which is a great touch. Nevertheless, yeah, still a bit of an old product. Here we are taking off from KLIA. It's a 6 hour and 40-minute flight, I think it was, on our day into Dubai. Took off a little late, but arrived pretty much bang on time. Yeah, the takeoff views were great. Slippers and an eye mask were then handed out in a really nice pouch. I found those pretty useful for getting to the bathroom and making sure that I could snooze on an evening flight where people were watching movies and did have their lights on. Here are the beds made up with the mattress, not quite all the way fully flat, although they don't go all the way flat, they are just angle flat seats. And here's a look at the amenity kit. This was filmed a bit later on, but pretty well stocked for business class. Possibly the best business class amenity kit out there still. The deodorant's a great touch, the fragrance and all the lotions and potions there, as Dennis Bunnick would say. But the razor and the shaving foam in particular is very cool. Oh yes, and the lip balm, almost forgot that. Service started with some warm nuts. They were definitely warmed, and the glass of white wine there while I was watching a film, watching the sunset outside outside those windows on the 777, which was great as well. I thought the dinner service was really good. I had the Arabic meze as my starter, and I decided to skip mains because, like I said before, I wanted to get a bit of extra sleep, but this was much better than Qatar's Arabic meze starter, I think. In my opinion, the bread was nice and warm, both are warm, but the actual platters themselves were just so tasty. Had a glass of red wine and then decided to put the bed into bed mode. This is as flat as it gets, so yes, it's not flat or nowhere near it, but it is pretty comfy. I managed to probably get 3 hours of sleep, I think, and then basically woke up as the captain announced we were coming in to land. So it was about sort of 20-25 minutes before landing that I woke up. So yes, not flat, but still quite comfortable. Here we are coming into Dubai, and how did I pay for this flight? Well, I paid with Qantas Frequent Flyer points. Here are the breakdown of what you could pay: 61,000, and that's in Malaysian ringgit, but that would be equal to $727. However, there is a bit of a hack. I found if you did a multi-city and included another flight with Malaysia Airlines here, the total in taxes you would pay for the 2 flights in Australian dollars was only $239.65 each. So you somehow save $500 on taxes and get the other flight included. Of course, you have to pay the full amount of points, but nevertheless, still might be an interesting way to look at using your points to fly Emirates without those hefty carrier charges. Anyway, let me know what you think of the flight. Like I said, there's still more to come. But yeah, thanks for watching.